more you have experienced something sour, the more you appreciate something sweet. You will never have an appreciation for the fullness of the midday until you have walked in the darkness of the midnight. So, when we talk of love, true love, listen to the words because I'm using the English language and the English language is very constricted, restricted. True love. Allah is truth. Allah is love. You can't get to love without coming through truth. It's impossible. You cannot recognize love, al-wadud, until you first recognize truth, al-haq. You can't do it. What you will be deceived into thinking is love is nothing more than a high-end representation of spiritual lust. You'll feel good, but I like to call it spiritual masturbation. It feels good, but it don't produce anything. In order for to really obtain to the station of love, you have to go through the station of haqq, of truth. So the truth of the matter, listen, the truth of the matter. What is matter? Form. The truth of the matter is that there is a reality behind the matter. As I said, the ultimate veil is the veil of the I, of the ego. We will never be able to obtain to the station of love carrying this ego. That's why we developed a little saying down in Virginia, no I, no you, only love. Because if it's really love, there is no I and there is no you. When you put I love you, that I and that you that you put in that phrase, in that statement, I love you, that I and that you negates the love. Because there can be no I and no you in true love. That's why I think the Shaykh, the Shaykh Noor, when she was explaining the different levels of love, there's an earthly love. I love, I love, I love, I love. Whenever you have this I love, this is a manifestation of earthly love. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. I love you. This is earthly talk. But true love transcends time, transcends space, transcends life and death. That I, whatever that I is attached to, that I loves, ceases to exist at the moment of death. But true love is eternal. Well, how do we know true love is eternal? Al-Hayyu Qayyum, Allahu Hayyu Qayyum. Allah is the giver of life and the sustainer of life, the eternal, As-Samad, the eternal. So if love is Al-Wadud, Allah is love, Allah is also the giver of life and the sustainer of life, and the separation from this life is not the end of life. So therefore true love is eternal, because Allah is eternal. True love has no beginning and it has no end. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is Al-Wadud, is also Al-Awwal Al-Akhir. Am I right, Shaykh?
I mean, the first and the last, Al-Awwal Al-Akhir.
We got a blessed night here tonight. We just getting started. We on the journey. a journey from to. We're on a journey from the Lord, Rabbil al-Qadir. From the Lord of power to the Lord of power. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi ali-adim. There is no power and there is no might except with Allah the Most High, the Mighty, the Great. To whom, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, to whom all praise is due, the Lord of all the worlds. Allahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allah has power over all things. Never forget this. Allah has power over all things. Remember, I told you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when you remember Allah, Allah remembers you. But it goes further than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went on to say, if you remember me in a group, I will remember you in a more exalted group. That's why we are sitting together now remembering Allah. The veils will be lifted. You will see. You will see. With certainty you will see. Before, if Allah by His mercy allows us to get to paradise, I'm going to give you the perfect, complete parable of what I'm saying, so you can see it clear as day. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by His infinite mercy allows you to enter paradise, what must you see first with certainty of sight, according to the Quran? And you will see the fire of hell. With certainty of sight, you will see the fire of hell. Why? Why? Because if you don't see the fire of hell, you will never really appreciate the garden of paradise. All of us have had a cross to bear. There's not a soul born into this life of toil and struggle that has not felt the pain. The worst pain in the human experience is the pain of birth. Think about it. Think about a big old 6, 7, 8 pound baby coming through that narrow birth canal out that small exit. You see the pain that the mother goes through? Nobody ever think about the pain that the baby goes through. You think that's a pleasurable experience, being squeezed, that big old head coming out of that little exit? You think that's a pleasure to the baby? But where's the sign? Allah says in everything there's a sign. When that mother, and if you get the opportunity to, as men, to watch your wife give birth, or as women to give birth, when that mother pushing this like pain, like as a man, I can't imagine. But when that baby comes out of that birth canal, out of that womb of darkness into the light of life, Allahu Lord al-Hayy. When that baby comes out into the world, that mother takes that baby and holds that baby next to her bosom, and she has no recollection of that pain that she was just suffering before. A minute before. She ain't crying, she just want to hold a baby. And that baby, the most traumatic experience in the human existence is the birth process, but we have no recollection of that pain by the mercy of Allah. So shall it be when we're born out of this world into a new world. All of the pain and suffering that we have experienced in this world, we will have no recollection of it, if Allah so wills, by His mercy. We will have no recollection of it. In fact, there will be a people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask, who suffered greatly in this life. They suffered immensely in this life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you, do you have any recollection of suffering in the next life and the previous life? And they will say no. Then there will be a people who had nothing but the joys and the pleasures and the luxuries of this life. But they got it through the exploitation and enslavement and abuse of others, of humanity, of the manipulation and the abuse, savage abuse of humanity. And because of their savage abuse of humanity, they have reaped the rewards of this life. They will be asked, were there anything in the previous life that was joyful and pleasurable to you? And they will say, I can't know, I have no recollection. Every single soul gets exactly what their hands call for. We reap what we sow. Allah is an Adl. Allah is an Adl. The just. The just. If you ever see the picture of justice, the statue of justice, holding the scales of justice, there's a blindfold over justice's eyes. The reason that they put the blindfold over the statue of justice is so that justice can't be prejudiced by what they see or hear or think or taste or smell. So justice is blind in the worldly sense. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Adl and Al-Basir and Al-Shaheed and Al-Raqib. Allah is the seer and the witness and the watcher over all things. True justice is not blind. Allah is justice. And Allah sees all. But Allah is not prejudiced by what Allah sees. That's why human justice got to be blind, in theory anyway. But divine justice sees, hears, witnesses, knows all. There are no secrets. There are no hidden components. There are no hidden chambers. In fact, I will end with this and then I'm going to pass the baton on to the Shaykh. A Shaykh had his 3 murids. He gave each one a bag of gold. He said, I want you to take this bag and hide it where no one can find it. One took it, went out to the middle of the ocean, tied a tremendous heavy anchor around the bag and threw it in the ocean. The other one went to the highest Himalayan mountain, to the smallest cave in the mountains, and took it and buried a hole deep inside the cave and threw it in the hole and covered the hole over. When they came back to the Shaykh said, okay, where did you take the gold? He said, I took it to the ocean. I threw it in the middle of the ocean. The Shaykh said, all right. He said, where did you take your bag? He said, I took it to the highest mountain in the deepest cave and buried a hole in the cave and put it in the hole. He said, where did you take yours? The dirt. He gave him back the bag. He said, why are you giving me back the bag? Didn't I tell you to hide it where no one could find it? Why are you giving it back to me? He said, Ya Shaykh. He said, Allah sees and knows everything. There's no place that I can hide this where Allah would not know where it is in. And the Shaykh said, yes. You are the one. There's no secrets. Are you kidding me? There's no secrets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that nothing happens that Allah is, that of one or two or more of you, that Allah is not the third amongst you. Allah is al-Shaheed. Allah witnesses everything. There's no secrets. There's no hidden thoughts. Allah comes between us and our own thoughts. Allah comes between us and our own heartbeat. There's no secrets. You can fool men and women, but you can't fool Allah. Only a fool tries to fool Allah. you kidding? Yourself. What does Allah say in the Quran? Allah says that they think they are that they are fooling Allah, that they are tricking Allah, but they're only tricking and fooling themselves. It's no games. Playtime is actually over. We are living in the manifestation of the last days. Now, how long these last days will last, only Allah knows. But the Prophet ﷺ said the distance between him and the last days was like the distance between his two fingers. And that was 1400 years ago. But in the times that we are living in the times that we are living in are the manifestation of the prophecy. Of all the prophets have prophesied about these times. That's why if ever in human history that we were to hold on to the rope of Allah and be not divided amongst ourselves, this is the time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us clearly in the Quran, and see, when I hear this ayat, I know clearly what it means. No one's got to tell me anything about what this ayat says. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you were on the brink of the hellfire. And I, Allah, saved you. If I don't know any other reality of the Quran, I know that one. I have one foot in the fire and one foot on a banana peel. Slipping and sliding to the endless pit of the fire. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said no. Now that don't mean that I still might not end up in the fire. Only Allah knows. But what it meant was that that particular fire I had a mission to accomplish that I couldn't accomplish from the fire. So Allah took me out. That's why the Shaykh said, you are the Shaykh that America produced. You can take it or leave it alone. Every single aspect of the American experience, either I have been a part of, I've thought of, I've experienced, or I've counseled people through. Unto every people, Allah sends from amongst them someone to guide them. No one can guide us through this. This, in America, United States of the 50, except someone who was born out of it. And no one can guide someone who was born out of it better than someone who was in the belly of the beast. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. Came up out of the gutter. Therefore, I can relate to anyone that comes from that vineyard. But I can also relate to anyone who has excelled beyond that vineyard. I can sit with the kings and queens and princes and princesses of the earth, of the presidents and the prime ministers. Why? Because of the ego? Because of the nafs? Because of the self? No. Because Allah has sent a living representative of the power of Allah to take that which is in total darkness and bring it out into the light. To take that which was dead. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Ba'ith. Allah resurrects from the dead and brings back to life. That doesn't only mean on the day of judgment. Every day we wake up, we're being resurrected. Every day we wake up, we're resurrected from the dead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us when we go to sleep at night, we're dead. Every day we wake up is a resurrection. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us and protect us and keep us on the path of the straight. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forever say peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet and his messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his family, upon the companions, and upon all the rightly guided servants until the day of judgment. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
Shaykh Sufi.
barakatuh.
Bismillah. Now we will hear from Sheikh Sufi. Sheikh Sufi, you know, I can honestly say in life I haven't had too many friends. Really. I ain't had too many friends. I've had wives, I've had children, I've had parents, I've had neighbors, I've had associates, I've had companions. I ain't had too many friends. Because this word in friend, this word in English, friend, when you say it in Arabic, it's wali. And wali is an attribute of Allah. So therefore, a true friend, which Allah being truth, al-haq, and Allah being wali, a true friend can only come from Allah. And I can say that this man is my true friend.
The true friend of Allah, al-Wali, the Waliullah, the friend of Allah, A'udhu Billahi, Bismillahi, Inna Waliullahu, A'udhu Billahi, Bismillahi, Inna Waliullahu, A'udhu Billahi, Bismillahi, Inna Waliullahu. Our beloved Cheikh Abdu-Rasheed has said in one of his du'as, A'udhu Billahi, I seek the protection of Allah. Bismillahi, in the name of Allah. Inna waliyullahu, surely Allah is our friend. Inna waliyullahu, surely Allah is our friend. On this path, there's only one Shaykh. There's only one Islam. There's only one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's actually only one Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So anything that I would say is coming from the Shaykh. The Wali, the friend of Allah, is a very, very important topic in the path of what we call tasawwuf, or purification of the soul. Everyone in this room has the potential to become God's friend. Everyone in this room has the potential to become the friend of Allah, or the Waliullah. And in the hadith it says that when the hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Allah loves nothing more than the prescribed act of worship. Allah loves nothing more than the obligations of the worship He's asked us to do. And then Allah said that His servant would draw closer to Allah by doing extra acts of worship. And some say this means extra acts of service, or khidmah. And then the Prophet Muhammad went on to say that when someone does extra acts of worship, extra acts of service, Allah will love this person. Now this can be explained on a human level very easily. Let's say you have a wife and you are in love, and you ask your wife, beloved, I'm going to Manhattan. I'll be back this evening. We have some guests coming. Could you just clean up the living room? We have guests. So you asked her to clean the living room, but when you left, she cleaned the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, the hallway, the stairs outside, and the windows. So You asked her to do one thing and she did extra above what you asked. This will increase your love for your wife. Now, if this can happen on earth, if Allah asks you to pray 5 times a day, and He asks you to fast in Ramadan, and He asks you to give the charity to the zakat, and He asks you to go to Hajj and Mecca, and you have your intentions for that, but you do more than that, Allah will love you. Let me give you a very simple example. In the Holy Quran, Allah told the Prophet ﷺ, when you make wudu, in the Quran it says wash each body part once, correct?
Yes.
What did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ do? 3. Come on now, wait. Allah said in the Quran 1 time is what Allah asked, but Prophet Muhammad said, no, I'm going to do 3. Do you think Allah loved that? This is what we call the Sunnah. The Sunnah is the way of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever Allah asked him to do, he did more. So Allah asked you to do 5 salat. That's not going to get the love of Allah. You have to do more. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did the 5 salat, but he did 2 rakats before Fajr. He did 4 rakats before Dhuhr and 4 after Dhuhr. He did 3 rakats after Maghrib, 2 before Isha and 2 after Isha. Why is he doing extra prayers when Allah only asked for 5? What you think about that, brother? He's Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He ain't got to do no extra prayers. He could have been like, yo, I'm Muhammad. I'm talking to the angel Jibril. I done been up in heaven. Yo, I'm teaching this Islam. I got the Holy Quran. Look, I'm only doing 5 prayers. Aisha said the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would stand up at night and pray till his ankles were swollen. Wait a minute. Shaykh, why is Prophet Muhammad standing up at night doing extra prayers till his ankles are swollen? Aisha said, Ya Rasulullah, oh Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, you know Allah forgave all your past sins. And oh Muhammad, yes, you know Allah gave all your future sins. Why are you still praying to Allah with these extra prayers? Prophet Muhammad said, should I not be a grateful servant? Should I not be a grateful servant? So, if you want Allah to love you, you have to do extra acts of worship or extra acts of service. You have to do something more than just the basics. One of my sheikhs from Sufi, one of my sheikhs from Africa, he said this. He said people don't want to be Sufis because they're lazy. Nobody want to be a Sufi. You got to do all that extra zikr. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ say do 33 zikr after every salat. Most Sufis is doing at least 100 after every salat. It's like, but the beautiful thing is this. Allah says through the Prophet Muhammad in the Hadith Qudsi, if you do extra acts of worship, then Allah will love you. What happens after that is magical. What happens after that is magical. The people from Yemen in the corner stores and Mount Vernon start giving you free coffee. I go in the Arab store with these dicker beads. I got a guy who will not take my money, and he's from Yemen. He will not. I walked in this store and said, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. He said, then I went and got the coffee pot and said, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Then I went and got the sugar and said, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Then I went to the counter and said, how much is it? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. He said, nah. He said, nah.
Your money no good here.
He said, nah, I can't take your money. So I thought it was just a coincidence. Next time I went in there, the same thing. Nah, you can't. So I go in there with my money out in my hand. He said, no, he won't take it. Because I'm doing Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allah says that when you do these extra acts of worship, Allah will love you. What happens after that is miraculous. Allah says, when I love someone, I become the eyes they see with, the mouth they speak with, the ears they hear with, the hands they grasp with, and the feet they walk with. And then Allah says, were this person to ask something of me, surely I would give it to him, or surely I would give it to her. This is the one who is the friend of Allah. If the Shaykh is my friend and I say, Shaykh, can I borrow $1? Inshallah, he will give me $1. If you have a friend and you ask them for something, they will give it to you. That's why Allah says, and surely if this person